Hi everyone, sorry about that. Welcome to the Walt Wines Happy Hour. My name is Jeff Zappelli and I am the General Manager for Walt Wines. I'm incredibly excited to be hosting two extraordinarily funny women today on our Happy Hour, which we'll get to them in just a second, but I wanted to just point out that our tasting rooms are open. I'm actually currently in the tasting room, which is the first time I've been here in a couple of weeks and the first time we've been able to host a show since I think last year. So that is incredible. I'm very excited and I hope that you will come join us. We just launched our Route 101 experience and it's incredible. It's a new food and wine pairing with Chef Brian and you should definitely check us out at waltwines.com. But I wanted to just bring on these two incredibly funny women. You know them as Mamrie Hart and Grace Hilbig. They're both comedians. Mamrie specifically is an actress, writer, performer. She's won 2 Streamies for her YouTube show, You Deserve a Drink. She's hosted 100 million people viewing her YouTube channel, which is a ton of grapes, by the way. And then Grace Hilbig, she's also a comedian, a YouTube sensation. You might know her from ETV, podcast Not Too Deep, and This Might Get, which is actually both of their podcasts. Please help me welcome Grace and Mamrie. And while we're trying to get both of them on simultaneously, I will just say this is the first time I've ever... It worked!
It worked!
Woohoo! We're here!
Oh my goodness, grapes-cious.
Thank you for succeeding in that because I was really nervous that I was going to not be able to figure this out.
No, you handled very many things at the same time very well.
Yeah, I cannot believe this is your first rodeo.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Multiple people, like, highly impressed.
Yes,
Grace
yes,
and
yes, yes.
I mean, we never know what we're doing. So this is like space age. We're on the Jetsons right now.
Yeah, the fact that both of us are in this room with you right now is truly a testament to, modern technology and, human resilience.
Yeah, human resilience is definitely the word. Like hashtag human resilience.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on. You both deserve a drink, which might be the appropriate thing to be saying right now.
Ooh.
Yes.
So I have brought, just like you start your podcast on a wine happy hour, we always start with a glass of wine. So this is our 2018, it's kind of bright, but it's our Gaps Crown Pinot Noir. This is another first for Walt Wines. I'm going to try to transmit 2 bottles of wine via the internet all the way to you today. Okay.
I got it. I got it.
Oh my gosh, technology has really come far.
Wow.
It's incredible. I mean,
I'm so excited.
And also, mine has like a glass missing from it, Jeff. How strange.
Well, cheers to both of you. You deserve a drink. And
I gotta open up.
Oh
yeah, Mamrie's going to show us. Mamrie is very well versed in opening wine bottles, so she's giving us a first-hand demonstration.
See, I know you're supposed to go. Aren't you technically supposed to go from here?
Really?
So I can explain the super technical way to do it. Yes, you're supposed to And
You're
by the way,
I
painted my nails. So
I was going to say, great nail polish color, Jeff.
Yeah, it's chipping off though, so I need to.
It looks good.
I know that game.
We can talk about that since you guys talk about that kind of stuff. So typically, you take the foil off here, and then you'll drive a corkscrew in and you'll pull it off. But at the winery, sometimes you'll just see us do stuff like this, where I actually the tin.
And that's not like taboo to do at all?
No, it's actually a lot faster sometimes. So
I didn't even know it would loosen up like that. Usually I gotta have a little wine in me before I loosen it up.
No, these are just, you can put them on your fingers. This is tin, and then you have it printed on the top.
Right.
And then when you bottle, it's just a cylinder, and it just lays right on, and then you squeeze it, and that's it. So,
well, cheers.
Yes, well, now we can all finally enjoy a glass of wine.
Cheers, y'all.
Thank you.
I love, you can see all of our ring lights in the reflection of all of our glasses.
No, we're just all so bright-eyed whenever we have wine.
Yeah, that was
Wait, so that's so interesting what you just did, because I, not to also humble brag, used to wait tables at the Olive Garden, and
might have heard of it.
Might have heard of it.
You're drunk and full.
Yeah, when you're there, you're an actual breadstick. But they always told us this first little lip is what you're supposed to carve around and like lift it off. But I've never heard like going any lower was okay to do. I assume that anything other than what I'm told with wine is the wrong thing to do with wine.
Well, so the Court of Psalms has their way of doing it. And Mamrie, I know you're doing your W set right now. You're getting.
I am trying to become Psalm certified. I took my first class last month, but I haven't been able to test. And so I have that thing, like I'm getting the nightmares that I would get in college. That like, I forgot to go to class and now I'm taking the test. So I have to take it while I'm still retaining a little knowledge. But it's tough because you're learning stuff while drinking. And I know you're supposed to spit it out, but like, I don't like to waste.
No.
So by the end.
It's never fun to do that. Like you want to just enjoy it. When we're blending wine right now, which means that we're taking all of the vineyards and we're putting them together and making a finished lot.
Cool.
And that's sometimes like 60, 70 different types of wine or that we're going to taste from.
Wow.
And so you have to spit because there's no way you're going to get out of the winery if you do that. So
yeah.
Maybe this is delicious.
Mamrie, I can see you refraining from making every inappropriate joke possible, and I appreciate it on behalf of Walt Wines.
We are being hosted by Walt Wines, and I will not do a spit joke, okay? I swallowed that joke as soon as it came into my brain.
Wait, I have a question about wine. I know this might be... quick question. Is, you know how like in the food world, there are trendy foods that happen, even though they've been around forever, like avocados, etc. Is that the same with wine? Is there a wine that right now everyone's like going for?
Well, hot wines are definitely, the marketing buzz is around natural wines.
Natural wines. Okay.
Also, for 2 seconds, I thought you meant actual hot wines. Have not heard of it. Wow. The hot term is natural wines. And natural wines don't have a definition. All wine is making wine is a natural process. It's literally yeast and sugar making alcohol. And we do that using grape juice. So that's a very natural process. But natural wines are supposed to be, lower in alcohol, made without any sort of, how do I say this? Things that we put in wine sometimes to make them not explode. Natural wines want to avoid things. So you have to be careful with natural wines because if they get too hot or they get stored in unstable places, sometimes they'll just, combust the cork if they have a cork. So just be careful of that.
Got it. What's Mamrie's face?
Winemakers making a lot of really good wine. And then orange wine is probably also hot topic right now.
Orange wine is my new jam. I like it when it's like
wine.
Yeah, and like.
And it's not made of oranges.
No, it's just they leave their skin contact with the grape like very quickly, right? Like with a rosé.
It's extended skin contact because you're gonna really leach that color out.
No, it's so good. It's like I like the ones that are kind of funky.
They're all funky. That's
they're funky.
This is
one sip of wine. One sip of wine.
Like, what is the audience rating on watching this stream right now?
Are you watching your followers drop?
No.
The longer we're on.
By the way, my paper, I have like this paper of questions that I was going to ask you guys. It fell, so I didn't.
No worries.
Wanted to remind the audience, we'd love to have questions. So you can put them in the scrolling comments if you'd like, but they're going really fast. So I recommend you put them in the questions. That way we can find them because the comments are also pretty lively. I think that we're seeing a lot of skin contact questions. Right?
A lot of skin contact questions. I did see one question that's also a question I have, which is how long after you open a bottle of wine is it still okay to drink technically?
Well, it depends how you're storing it. So if you were to open it, so we're in our tasting room today.
So like this one that we're drinking today.
Like without a pump or argon or anything.
Without like a neutral gas is what we call it. So you can use nitrogen, argon, ozone. Those things will actually, they're sterile gases that won't affect the wine.
Grace, did you know about this? I only learned about this.
No, I'm pretending that I kind of understand this.
There's like a spray that you can put in here that's like, it's a denser gas like ozone or argon, and it'll like take out the oxygen, and it'll like coat it so that your wine will stay fresh for like a long ass time. And I'm like, how have I never known this?
A spray that you spray into the bottle, or
that's a natural, that like disperses the oxygen, which is what will make your wine go bad. And it like sits on top of your wine and keeps it fresh. I'm sorry. Can you tell I took one wine class?
That's crazy. And it makes me think of what they spray into bowling shoes to make them available for people to keep wearing over and over again.
No, it's just like clean. It's not like a disinfectant.
Okay. Got it.
It's an element.
But it makes your wine last how much longer?
Like weeks.
Yeah. So what you need to do is expel oxygen from the bottle, because oxygen is going to bind and make it. That's what's going to make the wine bad. Is that combination of oxygen seeping into the wine.
Okay.
So what you do is you're going to gas the wine glass, or the wine bottle in this case, with something that's neutral like nitrogen or argon, and then it'll expel the oxygen out and leave behind that gas, and then you just cork it, and then you can.
Isn't that awesome?
Wow.
As someone who loves drinking by myself, I'm often put in a bad position because I'm like, I've got to finish this nice bottle of wine.
So tough. What a tough position. Yeah.
So I haven't yet to purchase any argon.
Is this new? Is this new technology, or has this been around forever?
It's been at least 20 some years. It's the same. Do you remember when at least when I was in restaurants in the late 90s, you had this like pump? And so you're basically doing the same thing. You're pulling the air, which what's actually doing is pulling the air out and leaving behind less air to spoil the wine. So that's what we do. We'll use a nitrogen spray, and then it'll blow out all the oxygen, and then we just put a cork in it. If we're going to be closed the next day, what we'll do is probably take the wine home and drink it. But in some instances, we'll actually just put the red wine in the fridge, and so the wine will stay in the fridge. It'll stay longer, or it'll stay good longer. So that's
an okay thing to do. Put red wine in the refrigerator.
You can drink wine at any temperature that makes you happy. That's what I always say. I like drinking wine at a certain temperature that I like drinking wine. But when I used to serve, like the Spanish usually drink their red wines a little warmer. And I like my white wine's probably a little cooler than they're supposed to. But no, you do. It's beautiful.
Cool. It's like I like my spaghetti leftovers cold in the morning, and most people would want them warm. And so it's nice to know that the temperature variant is possible.
Grace can work spaghetti into any conversation.
I mean, we're drinking red wine. Come on.
Cheers to both of you. Cheers. There's a bunch of questions.
Okay.
And I'm going to stay away from some of them.
No, please don't. Sorry.
So, so one question was, why shouldn't you put ice in red wine? Have you ever put ice in red wine?
I have before.
I mean, I can't say I can recall a specific moment, but I just like kind of connect that with sangria that would have like ice in it, I assume.
Absolutely. Yeah, and a lot of other things.
I've done it with like a lighter, like a Pinot Noir, when it's not like it from a wine cooler, if it's like got a little warmer, if you're at a picnic, and it's been in the sun for a second, I'll throw an ice cube in there. I don't care if that's trashy.
Yeah, the only thing you're doing when you're doing that is it's just like any drink. As it melts, the wine will become less concentrated. So you'll have, less of those abundant flavors. You can put ice cubes in anything. I usually recommend, if you're going to do that, just drop in one of those like concrete dice kind of ice cubes. Have you seen
like a whiskey?
Yeah, you do it with whiskey and other drinks, and that way you're not going to water it down, especially if it's an expensive bottle of wine and you want to water it down. That's how.
Have you ever made wine ice cubes to put in your white wine?
I have broken dozens of bottles in my. I can tell.
Oh, no, but I meant in the actual, like an ice tray of like Chardonnay cubes. Because you said you like it really cold.
I do. I've never done that intentionally, but I did it. I literally, there was a bottle of sparkling wine that blew up on me last week. So,
yeah.
Jeez.
Sparkling, like red wine going out, it's like or white wine, it's like it just kind of oozes out. When you break a bottle of sparkling wine in the freezer, it's like it's
everywhere. I have another question about temperatures of wine.
Okay.
As a classy wine man, how do you feel about wine slushies and people doing like frosé?
Frosé?
I've never had one, but I know it was
I've had it.
You know, the summer thing.
Yeah, it made me feel like I was at a very sophisticated 7-Eleven getting a slushie.
I've had frosé, and I think it was like, I was on the East Coast. It was like 100 and something degrees, and it was humid, and it was delicious. So
yeah,
it was just like, it was, it was really good. I have a question for the two of you as far as wine drinking goes.
So, an interview.
have you ever done a chambon before?
Oh, I've bonged everything.
Oh, a chambon.
Chambon.
I thought it was a chambal, like this.
No, bong.
No, I can't say I have.
So there was a question someone asked about Lambrusco. So Lambrusco is a red wine, sparkling wine.
Love it.
I was in Cleveland, and this bar is the top bar for chambonging, and it's like a champagne flute. So it's a long glass tube.
Yeah.
And then there's a champagne flute that sticks straight up. You pour it on the top, and then you just tilt back, and you.
But doesn't it like? I mean, I just imagine that's like doing a Sprite bong.
Yeah.
But your whole body just inflates.
It's the bar known for chambonging and just people ripping burps.
Yeah.
I feel like I was like having a heart attack immediately.
Oh, yeah.
I walked into the bar to taste the wine buyer, and literally all the way down the bar, and this is back in non-pandemic days, so it's packed, and everyone's got this like chambong thing. I'm like, what is this? And they're like, we're the largest chambong bar in all of them.
Wow.
Are there other chambong bars in Ohio?
I feel like this hasn't caught on because it has terrible side effects. I feel like the cleanup after the chambonging is probably a disaster because that's sticky barf. That's not just beer barf. And the gag reflex. But what do you think about beer pong becoming champagne pong now? I've seen a lot of that lately.
Yeah. You have?
Oh yeah, like in Target, they have like the floating like stuff, and it's all like now made for champagne and beer. Yeah.
I want to drink champagne.
Yeah.
Like a real lady.
Okay.
Oh, and what is that?
In my sweatpants alone watching Drag Race. No, I guess the thing for me is when it comes to like a game like that or bonging or whatever, like from early bottomless mimosa days in my 20s in New York, like I can't drink crappy champagne. Like, and I'm not even saying like everything has to be like, Vouv or whatever. I'll do a mum, but it's just like cheap champagne, I'm already hungover thinking about it, and you'd have to use cheap champagne for pool beer pong.
Yeah, big time. Question: what's the best bubbly to use in a mimosa? That's like, is there something that you should be looking for over others?
I wouldn't be my suggestion would be a really dry champagne.
A brut.
Okay.
Because you don't want to add more sweetness to that. That would be my recommendation. Would be a brut, something made from Chardonnay. So something from the Côte de Blanc if you're in Champagne at the time. Champagne tends to be there's two grapes. There's Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, which we both make at Walt Wines.
Cool.
And champagne made from Pinot Noir tends to have more body. It tends to have, so that's Bollinger, Krug. Those are Pinot Noir driven wines. And then when you're looking for more that clean Chardonnay flavor, that I think would pair better with adding fruit to it.
Cool.
That's my expert opinion as someone who doesn't make champagne but drinks a lot of it.
Great.
Because you guys specialize in Pinot Noir and Chardonnay.
We do. So I'll take my 20-second commercial, let you enjoy the wine. I'll tell you a little about it. So,
I set you up on for a segue. I want it.
Thank you. Great segue. So this is our 2018. You don't both have to show the bottle, but
we're
we can't
Price is Writing right here.
We just become actual like car show models.
Yes. Are we all off the side of the face? So this is our 2018 Gaps Crown Pinot Noir. So we make Pinot Noir and Chardonnay from as far north as Oregon all the way down the California coast to Santa Barbara. So vineyard designate wines, so wines that are made from one place. And it's all Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, so only 2 different grapes that we harvest to make these wines. And this wine is from the Gaps Crown Vineyard, which is just located about 8 miles due west of where I'm sitting. I would love to have both of you come. I want to do this in person. This would be terrific.
1,000%.
Yes.
Back to my homeland of Gaps Crown.
Yes.
There she goes.
There, right in. So it tends to make a wine. This wine has more flavor, concentration, and tannin than most Pinot Noir wines. So the wines from Oregon tend to be a little leaner and more earthy. This wine is more pure and in the fruit presentation, and also has a little bit more texture. And you'll find that texture kind of in the recesses of your palate. That's what we're looking for.
It's delicious.
I don't know if that's tracking for you. I was interested in just what's your thought on the wine? Do you like it? Can I would this qualify for this might get weird show?
Yeah, I think it's delicious. I'm like super into all things acidic. Like I drink like lemon drop martinis. I put lemon on everything. And so I like that it's hitting the sour notes a lot. And also I'm not super into like very like wood wine.
Yep.
And so I like that this feels like, is this steel cast or no?
No, so it's it's fermented in steel, and then it's aged in oak for about 10 months. So there's, for those viewers who are coming in, this is Walt Wines, and this is a Pinot Noir that's made primarily in an oak barrel aging process. So about 10 months, which is about half of what Cabernet is usually aged in. So it doesn't receive quite as much oak influence.
Delicious.
And it's all from France, which is actually a fun trip. You should go out there and definitely do that. I would say.
Well, we accept the invite. Thank you so much for this big trip to France.
We will see you there.
Come to France. Let's do it all.
I love it.
No, this is great. I'm, as you could all probably guess, not very well versed in wines, but I'm very happy to be learning about them and be provided some of them from this beautiful company because I want to like enjoy my drinking and like think about it more and like be more kind of present with it. I know Mamrie's had this for a while now, and I'm starting, late bloomer here, but trying to get. I just
think vodka sodas are a travesty.
They're
a travesty.
That's my go-to. I know. I drink nail polish remover if you give it to me. But I'm just but like occasionally you got, especially with food. By the way, guys, I don't mean to brag, but this is off to my side because I was doing like a virtual potluck earlier. Yeah. Look what I made.
Oh wow.
What the heck is that?
Where's the invite?
It's a thyme. I made thyme ricotta, and then I put roasted beets over it, and then I drizzled it with spicy honey. And it's great with this Pinot.
That's the most insane thing to just casually have off camera this whole time.
I'm so sorry that I'm a Nancy Meyers film right now.
That's insane. And I know you, and so that makes sense to me. But to anyone else, that's absolutely insane.
I always have a large format tart.
Right. You just did an Ina Garden moment of being like, oh, what do I have over here? I forgot. Oh.
I'm Martha Stewart for a wine tasting, and I brought this.
Hey, when you're having a classy day, you pedal to the metal.
Okay.
Terrific.
Obviously, quick question. My assumptions are with red wine that the pairing is like meat red meat of some sort, or like, I guess, heavier carbs. Is that true? Or is that like, can you put anything with it?
I think what's nice about Pinot Noir, so Cabernet tends to go into that red meat direction because it's structure and it pairs really well. The Pinot Noir, what's nice about Pinot Noir is it's fairly versatile. I mean, there's a great restaurant in San Francisco, Middle Eastern restaurant, and I've brought our wines to that because the food is more spicy and full, but it's vegetarian. And so but it's the spices that pair with the different flavors in the wine that really go with it. I've done this wine with like tuna. It is fattier, so it does help kind of the acidity cuts through the fat.
What is the worst thing you could pair this wine with?
Something like, so the weirdest pairing, I guess, since we're on the weird podcast. If you ate a grape right now, so Mamrie, if you have a grape, because I don't know if you have like a fruit too.
Fresh out.
Fresh out.
Just had 7 bouquets of flowers, 2 fake cakes, and a real tart next to her, but no grapes. No grapes.
Fresh out.
If you were, an empty glass is the worst thing to par. Thank you.
Yes.
So if you took a real like Concord grape and ate it and then drank wine, they're going to contrast. It's the weirdest thing. If you take salt and drink wine, it improves the flavors on the palate. But if you take something super aggressively tart or like a grape, then the acid will actually mess it up.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So opposites attract a little bit.
Yeah.
Except for sweets. If you're drinking a sweet wine, you need to drink it with sweets.
Something sweeter than that.
Sweeter.
Yeah. So that, if you're drinking sweet wines, the food has to be sweeter than the wine. That's the key. And
what a challenge.
Panic, you don't want bitterness. So that's also
cut to grace with Skittles.
I have literally, I have such
ice wine.
I have such a sweet tooth. You guys send us some Rieslings, and I will be there with just some Cheesecake Factory cheesecakes going.
No, that would be perfect. Yeah, you drink a little Chardonnay with a little cheesecake. That would be delicious.
What is your favorite wine? And I know you are, you work with a vineyard, so I understand.
Ask the wine that we make that I like, or just
or like in general.
Well, I grew up on my palate got trained on Pinot Noir. I was in restaurants, just like Grace, and
restaurants. No, I worked in chain restaurants. Mamrie worked in restaurants.
I worked at Applebee's. It's okay.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
You guys,
all of them, all the hits.
I worked at City Crab Seafood and Company on Park Avenue for 6 years.
Oh, well, that's that. Then I will drink with my pinky up for you.
With this turquoise pinky out.
With it. #daughters.
Someone's asking, someone said something a little sexual, but training your palate, what does that mean exactly?
It means you drink a lot. That's actually the easiest way to explain it.
I try to say, I'm just in training.
Yeah, you're in training. So you're doing your W set, and what they're doing with you is they're explaining to you what you're tasting, and then you're either agreeing with it or disagreeing with it. And that's what it's all about. And the more you drink, and if you drink wines that are, so the first thing is if you're going to train your palate, you need to drink wines that are 100% or of that varietal. So if you're drinking blends, it might get more difficult because they might have Zinfandel and Cabernet and Merlot and Syrah. Or I literally tried a wine once from a winemaker that I won't name on this show, and he made a wine he called it was called Transylvania.
If it was Guy Fieri, you can tell us.
And it was 21. It was 21 different grapes in one wine. So you can't really palate as well on those kind of wines. So you want to try to stay to the more perfect Pinot Noir, Cabernet, Sauvignon Blanc, because then you know what those grapes taste like, and then you can start to discern those grapes and other ones.
Okay, I have another question. I'm sorry, we've just turned this into an interview.
Yeah.
Hey, I would pay for anything.
I'm so sorry for those printed out papers that you had in front of you.
I'm sorry to that tree.
Exactly. It turns out we have a lot of questions for you.
No,
well, my question is, like, when you are tasting wine, and do you ever do like blind tasting yourself kind of thing?
Yeah.
So when you're tasting, do you have back pocket descriptors that you know are unique to yourself? Because like when you, okay, like when I was taking that wine course,
yes,
and they said like everyone type in what they're tasting to this, you know, this like word dump, and I'm just like grapes, and then other people are like a vintage belt leather, you know, like, do you have your go-tos that you're like, this is my phrase?
Yeah, and also
I haven't heard other people say.
Right. On top of that, like, is there a boundary on the way you're supposed to describe the taste of wine? Because if it tastes like that to you, how can you prove that it doesn't taste like that to anyone else?
So this wasn't my comment. So this was Gina Richmond. She's the winemaker for, actually, I don't know where she's working now, but she worked for us at the time. And I was sitting in a tasting right when I started working for the winery in 2006. And so I'm tasting with all the winemakers. And so for me, this is really intimidating because I've been in restaurants, but it's much different when you're sitting with people who make it.
Yeah.
And Gina, and we're tasting this wine that somebody was making at the winery. It wasn't our wine, but we were making it for other people. And she was tasting it, and she passed it to me. She goes, "What do you get out of this wine?" And I'm like, "It's not good." And she said, "You know, it smells like, you know, dog piss on a freshly lawn."
People in the comments are saying cat piss.
And so there's, you know, you dissect that into winemaking terms. There's ammonia in the wine. There's reduction in the wine. There's all kinds of different things. But her descriptor was dog pee on a.
Well, it's the same way. Like, I'm sure all of us have been like, "Oh, this is skunky."
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never eaten skunk, but I know what the smell tastes like in my brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And when you do that, when you do those like what Mamrie, what you're doing, do they throw in wild cards to see if you're really like accurately tasting correctly?
Gotcha questions?
What's that? Yeah, like gotcha question. Like yeah, this is actually, you actually drank nail polish remover or something, but so that you're not being like, oh,
Great. The man has one hand painted, and you've brought up nail polish remover twice.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, I just mean that wine, like wine to an unsophisticated palate can taste like, I might say notes of rust or notes of like, you know, like damp leaves, things I've never put in my mouth before, but like just unfamiliar flavors.
The sidewalk on a summer rain.
Right.
It smells.
I wonder if like the people in like the wine courses do throw in any like, you know, curveballs to see if you're actually like tasting correctly.
Right. Or if you're just like a spoken word poet.
Right. That you're like trying to guess without actually using your palate.
I've never had that experience. For starters, if it's a wine tasting and it's in the glass and it's not wine, I'll probably pick it out pretty fast.
Yeah.
But you could try to play with people. You know,
I'm just saying, if you want to get into making YouTube videos, I have a challenge video for you.
On wine.
My comment on this might get weird, and you're I would love to, actually.
Yes. If you give us some weird Gatorade and we're like, oh, this is a Cabernet 2017.
Yeah, exactly.
The one thing you could probably do is take like Coca-Cola and put it in with a really big structured wine, and then see if they could pull the Coca-Cola, the fact that you've messed it up. I think that would be a funny thing to play on. You know, you have like not like me, like a master somm come on.
Right.
And
they're known for their senses of humor, from what I hear.
Oh, yeah. They love to be told they're wrong.
Especially by someone just wearing smiley faces all over themselves in a sweatshirt.
There's a wine buyer somm that's following me right now that just took my wines off the list. So.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
But you ladies are so wonderful. I don't know how long you've known each other, but this was so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on this show. How did you guys meet? Like, just real quickly, you know, I've taken up a lot of your time, and I want to get you back to your own life.
This is fantastic. No, Grace and I met we always say 10 years, but at this point, Grace, I think it's like 14 years ago.
Yeah, we met in like 2008, I feel like.
Yeah, so 13 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were put on a sketch comedy team together in New York. And from there, we did a bunch of shows, and then Grace was doing YouTube and then helped me build my YouTube channel. We lived in the same neighborhood, so we just became like, I was bartending, she was on the internet, and so we could like get daytime Bloody Marys together.
Yeah.
And a friendship blossomed from there.
Yeah, and then we've been doing like Mamrie's written movies that I've been in. We've both written books, and now we've been doing for over 2 years this podcast called This Might Get Weird, and it's been super fun. Every Wednesday, a new episode's out today. And
I was going to ask you, when does your next episode come out? I listened to the most recent one where you talked about a dog. And I'll just leave it there.
That could be any episode.
oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
something about hair and a dog.
Sorry. Beans, were you okay? Every Wednesday, we only take like 1 week off a year, but it's just us catching up, and it's been very lovely because at the end of the day, it's like, once a week, I'm catching up with Grace over coffee or a cocktail, and it's like the most way to have a consistent friendship to start a podcast.
Through a pandemic, for sure. And now we have so many bottles of wine to catch up over, so the conversations will get inherently more silly.
Yes.
I have lots of more bottles of wine, and I would love to have the conversation here. So whenever you're feeling ready to travel, we are
field trip.
So, yes,
give us some of that dog piss wine.
No, not letting you drink that. That is not.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, just as I mentioned, you're taking a lot of time up. Your show, this is
This Might Get Weird every Wednesday.
New episode dropped today.
Everywhere you get your podcast. You can also watch it on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/This Might Get Weird, right? Or This Might Get.
This Might Get, it's still the old title.
It's the old title. But yeah, I'm at Grace Helbig on all social media platforms.
And I'm at Mametown. Because I'm a destination, not just a person. And I'm my own amusement park. No, but this is so great. Like literally, this is the first time I've ever gone live besides one time when it first came out. I was walking my dog and it went live in my pocket, but it was black.
And I got the notification.
Like, are you kidnapped?
Yeah, I was like, you just went live on Instagram. And she was like, no, I didn't. I was like, but you did.
It's a pocket call live. Is that what that is?
Yeah, basically. I was just so happy I wasn't just full on having conversations with my dog, or at least they couldn't hear it. But no, this is fantastic.
Well, I just wanted to thank both of you so much for coming on. And yes, check out This Might Get Weird on wherever you get your podcasts.
And check out Walt Wines.
Hell yeah.
Delicious.
And I hope to see you as soon as you feel safe to travel. We want to take care of both of you.
Trust me, you're going to regret this. I'm going to be harvesting.
Well, then we can tell those stories that we can't say on lives. So
okay,
we'll have to do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Grace,
I don't even know how to end a live.
I'm not sure either.
I'm going to hit leave.
Okay,
and I just want to say goodbye, everyone. I've had a lovely time.
Yes, goodbye. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.
That was great. That was Grace and Mamrie on This Might Get Weird. Their podcast is available on wherever you get your podcasts. You can also check them out on their YouTube channel. My name is Jeff Sapelli. Thank you, everyone who joined today. This was a very exciting interview. We are Walt Wines. You can find us at waltwines.com. We have tasting rooms that are open in Sonoma, Napa, and the town of Healdsburg. Please do come join us. We can't wait to host you. Here's to everyone out there. Thanks for being safe. Now come out and so we can cheers. Here's to you.